This is the second video in a tutorial series for Creo that's specifically geared for FRC applications. Uh, Creo is a great design tool. The first video we downloaded it basically once it's installed, you first open it up. This will be what it looks like. Usually kind of come up in two windows. There's a kind of the part window, and a lot of times it has just like a Internet Explorer type part that'll come up as well. So you can click here and it'll close the Internet Explorer part. We're going to go ahead and make a new part. We're going to just we'll draw a cube to start off with. And to do that, this has kind of a similar layout to a lot of Windows programs where it has a lot of menu items and taskbars kind of up towards the top. And then it'll have on the left here what's called a file tree or a model tree. It'll be used pretty often while we're working. I'll kind of show you more about it, but we'll start by creating a new part. And there's several different types of parts you can make. For the first one, we're just going to make a part, and we're going to name it cube. Oh, put it in the wrong thing. And there's some interesting model name conventions. You cannot have spaces in names. So if you want to do a space, you have to make with underscore, but it won't allow you to name it if you just try to put a space. Just something to remember if it ever gives you a headache. Click OK. So now we're making a cube. So as I stated on the left, there's this model tree, and it has our part and then a couple planes. And you can see if I click on these planes, a different plane will highlight. That's the right plane. The top plane will highlight green. The front plane will highlight green. And then the coordinate system default right there. So it allows you to select on different things. And you'll see once we start drawing, it'll start adding new things to this model tree. And what we are going to do first, we're making a cube. And this first lesson is going to be about making extruded parts. And extruded parts are essentially, you can make a lot of parts using extrude, but mainly it's for like flat or kind of square or blocky type parts. So our first one, we'll make a cube and we'll use extrude. So click on the extrude. Then the next thing it wants to know is where we're going to put it. So we need to put it on one of these planes. So this little placement tab here, you can see it's red. It's saying we need to do something with it. So it's saying select one item. We'll select on this front plane. So now it's expecting us to make a sketch on this front plane. You can see it's made a couple lines kind of showing this is the two-dimensional plane that we're going to make a sketch on. So to make a cube, the easiest way, there's several. You could do it with lines. You could do it with a rectangle. Since we're doing a cube, we'll go ahead and use the rectangle one. And basically you click, left click. I left clicked on the coordinate system. Then I drag it away and I will left click again. But you see that little green thing that popped up? It has an equal sign. So it tries to do smart things as you're sketching. You can see that the two lines that are green, it's saying those are equal. So it's going to automatically make that a square if I click right now. I'm not going to do it just to show you some more things about the sketch, but right there it would automatically make that a square. So I'm going to make it a little bit of a rectangle to start with just to show you how to dimension and do some other things. So now we've got this square drawn, but we want to give it a certain size, so we'll dimension it, and we'll click on one side, left click, and then you middle click away from it, and it puts a dimension in it. Let's say we want to make a 2-inch cube. So if we do 2 inches there, you can see, whoa, that kind of made it look funny. But if you zoom in, and you can zoom in by rolling the zoom wheel on the mouse, and you can zoom out by going the other way. So we've got one side that's 2 inches, but this other side is big, and it starts off with like a 300. Yours may be a different number, but we can go ahead and change that by putting another dimension in here. Click right there, and then middle click over. We'll make it 2. So now we have a square drawn. And this may look funny because it may not look like a square, it may look like a parallelogram. It's just because we're drawing in a funny plane. If you want to actually draw it in a plane that would look like a square, you can click on the sketch view and it makes it a sketch. And if you zoom out, you can actually click down middle with the middle mouse button and kind of drag it around and kind of move that sketch around in 3D space. But once we're done with the sketch, this is basically the shape that we want to begin making our cube with. We can click the OK button, and then it pulls a dimension out in space. And if you use your mouse button to zoom out, you can see how far it's going. But it's way out there. You can see this number right here. Right now it's moving. It's extruding out 216 units. So I'm going to change that to 2 and hit the enter button, and it basically extrudes it to a square. So to finish my square, I'll click the check mark, and I've got a 3D cube. And if, like I say, right now I'm just holding the middle mouse button, kind of dragging it around. It allows it to move around, zoom in, zoom out. Once we have this cube, you can see this extrude has been placed on the model tree. We can drop down. We can look at, it was made of a sketch right there. But if we want to change something about it, which often happens whenever you model something, we can basically click on it, and there's several things up here. One's a dimension edit, and the other one's an edit definition. So if we just wanted to, say, change it to a rectangular prism, we could click on the dimension edit, and then we'll make this dimension 4, and you can select it by double clicking. So it goes ahead and changes that, and you can, once you get it how you like it, you can click up here on this button that's called regenerate. Hit regenerate. Okay, changed our cube into a rectangular prism. Well, now, if we want something more elaborate than a cube, we can start, extruding more stuff off of it. It wants us to place it, but instead of just using planes, now you can start using surfaces. So we can click on this surface, and you can see the 2D plane that it wants us to draw on by these builds. So I will click on sketch view just to kind of give us a better idea of what we're looking at. Now we can pick pretty much any of these items to make a drawing with. I'll make a circle. We'll make a little circular thing pop out of it, and I'll put it right in the middle. So we'll do 1 inch from that edge, and we'll do 3 inches from the bottom, and we will make it, let's say, 1 inch in diameter, and we'll hit OK. So now it's trying to make something that comes out of it, and you can see this little white dot. You can drag it, move it in, move it out. You can change the value right here to 5 if you wanted to. There's some other neat things. You could click this arrow the other way, and now it's going through the part, and you can see it's actually trying to take material away now. You can add material or take material away by extruding. I'm going to go ahead and add material, so I'm going to hit the check mark, and so now we have this interesting part that made with 2 sketches. But that's essentially how you can build parts and make parts using the extrude tool. We are going to go through in the next video and actually make a part that goes on a robot. We'll make a gusset that's on VexPro's website. But that is it for this initial video. I suggest try to use some different extrude tools, play with the sketches a little bit. There's a lot to learn about the sketches. I'm going to have another video or so just specifically going through sketches and some different things you can do on sketches and how to make sketching easier for you. But I'd like you to play with it a little bit and see what you learn. Like I say, there's, you can always go in and modify things. You can either edit it or edit definition. We can go ahead and change the size. Say, we can make this 5 inches. Have a big block coming out. It doesn't look as pretty. Again, you have to regenerate. So now you've got interesting things. If you don't like that at all, want to go back, you can right click on it, say delete. You want to delete that feature. Okay, now we're back to the cube, or the rectangular prism. So that's all I've got for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helps you out. And like I say, our next video, we're going to make some gussets and have to use a few more features. But let me know what you think and if you have any issues. All right.